Welcome back, everybody, to another Tuesday night episode of the Take Two podcasts. We are your Frame brothers here every Tuesday to bring you all things football. I am Jameson Frame, accompanied by my brother Reed Frame, of course. We'll be diving into the college football playoffs, which start this weekend. Kind of an exciting time for college football fans and even non-college football fans. Me being one of those, I'm actually probably going to tune into a couple of these games just to kind of see how this whole thing shakes out. Um, it's kind of a cool format. I think it was definitely in their best interest to get more viewership, plus to get a little more competitive bracket going on. So definitely like that. We'll break down the games. We'll break down our picks. We'll dive into a little bit of why we think that, things to look forward to. Maybe touch on a couple players that we think are going to be NFL bound. And then we'll jump over to kind of the playoff picture and then the week of football that we have for NFL. So without further ado, Reed, if you want to kind of get us on track for the college football playoffs, and we can go from there.
I want to start with the SMU Penn State game.
Okay.
I think for me, this one was probably the easiest one to pick, who I thought was going to win. I have Penn State winning. SMU is a warm state college, in my opinion, and they're playing at Penn State at this time of year. It just doesn't mix well for whereas SMU, Texas, if I believe correct. Um, I
Isn't it Southern Mississippi University?
thought it was Southern Mary's, St. Mary's University,
Methodist, Southern Methodist.
Southern Methodist
Mm.
University.
I have no idea where SMU is. That shows you how much I know about SMU or care about them.
Yeah, me too. SMU, yeah, I don't really care about SMU, hence why I have Penn State winning here. I know they're from a warm state, though, so they're not used to playing in the cold. That's one of the factors I brought in, and Penn State just has a better roster. I mean, Abdul Carter is an absolute dog. He's going to the league. I would say, probably the next Micah Parsons. The only reason I say next Micah Parsons is because Micah Parsons went to Penn State. But he looks very similar to Micah Parsons in that way, so I'm taking Penn State over SMU.
Yeah, I quite easily took Penn State in this game too. I don't have, like I said, I don't know much about SMU. Don't care to know much about them. I've watched one of their games this year, and it happened to be their previous game that they just recently played. They
It's
look
yeah.
terrible. Even though they
Yeah.
won, didn't like how they played. They're going to go up against Penn State. I don't think they're going to stand a chance.
Didn't they lose? SMU lost against Clemson.
Mm, That's why I thought they looked so bad. See, you're finding out exactly how much I know about SMU.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I don't think there's many people that do. I watched that same game. I am a Clemson fan, as many people probably know. So I watched that game. I learned a little bit about him. I know their running backs, he's actually pretty good. I was kind of impressed with how their running back looked. But that was really all that impressed me with SMU. And as we're going to touch on later with Boise State, a running back can't be everything for a team to win. So again, SMU falling here in the first round. I think a lot of people are taking that, so it's not much of a hot take.
Yeah, speaking of Clemson, I think that was my easiest second pick was Texas easily handling business
Yeah,
over Clemson. Not even a close game.
100% agree. As much as it hurts, as much as I wanted Clemson to go, um, yeah, I think Texas just is better in every way. I really don't think Clemson does anything better than Texas does. So for me, yeah, it was pretty easy. Texas going here. Especially with how Clemson looked. I mean, against SMU, was hoping they'd do better against SMU. SMU almost came back and won it, which shows how good Clemson is, right? Barely made it into the playoffs. Yeah, I can see why you're taking Texas over Clemson because I'm doing the same.
Yeah, so just to kind of touch base on when those games are taking place, there's three games on Saturday and one game on Friday, right? So the SMU versus Penn State, which is at noon on Saturday. The 3 p.m. game is Texas Clemson, which we just touched on. The next one we can kind of touch on is Ohio State Tennessee, which is the night game on Saturday. The Friday game, which we'll get to last, kind of did it backwards there, but that's Notre Dame versus Indiana. That's Friday at 7 o'clock. Um, so yeah, Texas and Penn State handle business relatively easily, as they should. They have the worst seeds that they're facing, so in theory, they have the easiest matchups against the last two teams that make the tournament, essentially, right? So really should be no surprise there. I would be really surprised if one of those were an upset. That would be pretty crazy. It'd be great for the bracket, but unlikely in my mind.
Yeah, just a few notable players to s- watch if you're going to watch that game. You got Isaiah Bond, who's a pretty explosive receiver. I mean, all the receivers over there at Texas, they're fast. I mean, that's what Texas does. They're speedsters over there. Their running back, Quintavion Windsor, he's fast. He's a sophomore as well. And then Quinn Ewers. Little touch on Quinn Ewers. I haven't been very impressed with Quinn Ewers lately. He hasn't looked like an elite level QB. I haven't been impressed with him at all. Arch Manning, if you haven't watched a Texas game, Arch Manning comes in on running downs. Arch Manning will come in and he'll run the ball, which I find very interesting.
Yeah,
Is
they're
they
using
have
like a Justin Fields type package. It's
like
crazy.
yeah, they just like bring him in. They run QB power, or like QB
Yeah,
blast and stuff like
I,
that. It's very interesting, and I'm excited for. I'm guessing Quinn Ewers is gonna declare for the draft this year, and Arch Manning's gonna come in and start for Texas, and I'm excited to see what he does, not just running but also throwing the ball for Texas. So that's what I'm looking forward to next year. But Quinn Ewers, I'm not impressed with. I think I did say the Clemson looks like they're not better at anything than Texas. I would say I think Cade Klubnik, who's the quarterback of Clemson, is better than Quinn Ewers.
Interesting take. I know a lot of people don't see that. I am also not a fan of Ewers. I don't get the hype around him just watching the eye test, if you will, because that's really all I have to go off of when it comes to college players. Um, he doesn't look great to me, especially in a good offense. I feel like he should look better than he does. I feel like he misses passes. I don't feel like he's a great processor of what's going on in the defense. Um, Kind of scares me a little bit heading into the NFL draft. I did hear a rumor that Oregon offered Quinn Ewers $4 million in NIL money to stay another year and transfer to Oregon for next year. I
Really?
don't know. I haven't vetted that to know how legit that claim is or if that's a real thing. But he has not officially declared for the draft. So not saying it couldn't happen, not saying it will happen. I'm just saying I saw that out there. So
That's definitely interesting. I did not see that. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. We'll definitely cover that if that ever happens.
it
It's
would be
definitely an
crazy.
interesting thing. Just one more thing I want to take, and I think this is going to be a key part in this game, is Clemson's star edge rusher, TJ Parker, young guy, he's a sophomore, super good player. Big fan of TJ Parker. He will be going against Kelvin Banks Jr., who is a first round level tackle. So there's a lot of draft stock at this right here, this matchup. Kelvin Banks, first round. If TJ Parker looks good against Kelvin Banks, TJ Parker is gonna be a top edge rusher in next year's draft class. And Kelvin Banks, if he can prove himself against TJ Parker, nothing but up for him. So that's definitely a key matchup, I think, and it'll definitely have a big impact on the game of who wins that battle.
Yeah, good pull there. I wasn't aware of that. Banks is potentially like even a top five draft pick this
Yeah,
year.
Banks is like tackle
Depending on how the
one.
draft order plays out. So good stuff there. Jump into the Ohio State Tennessee game. I do not have an upset here. I have Ohio State taking care of Tennessee. I don't have a great prediction on what that score is going to look like. I know Tennessee's kind of a sneaky good team, but I don't see them beating Ohio State in this game.
I actually agree with you here. I am a big Ohio State fan. I do like their roster. I think their running back room, their wide receiver room. It's just I think it's a good team. There's been a few problems, especially losing to Michigan. That's I think where a lot of people are having doubt is that Michigan loss. And I can get with that. I'm still extremely high in OSU, and I think they take care of Tennessee. So I 100% agree with you there.
And then the final game on the docket would be the Friday night game, which actually the first game played, Notre Dame versus Indiana. I have no faith in Indiana whatsoever. I think this might be one of the biggest blowouts of the week. And I think Notre Dame handles this game by double digits at least. I don't know what the point spread is on the game. I haven't looked. I can actually take a look quick, but yeah, I would put some money down that they win by at least 10.
I would. I'm kind of going with you here. Indiana, they looked good, but if you look at that strength of schedule, they didn't play anyone good until who was Ohio State, I believe it was, and they got destroyed by Ohio State. So it shows you what happens when they play a good team. Yeah, Notre Dame destroys Indiana. I think that's a good take by everyone.
I'm still looking up the spread. Sorry. Give me a second.
All right, you're good. Um, Moving on. I want to keep going with Notre Dame, Georgia here. I feel like this is also the opposite side of another easy take here. I got Georgia. I think Georgia is one of the best teams in this bracket. As you can tell, they're the two seed, so you'd assume they're the best team. And I think they do what Notre Dame did to Indiana, Georgia does to Notre Dame. They just give them the same treatment, and I think Georgia moves on easily.
So it's a 7.5 point spread, Notre Dame versus Indiana.
Hmm.
I think they cover that quite easily.
Yeah,
So that's my 2 cents.
I would agree. College football, I would agree.
Yeah. So that we're going to the Notre Dame Georgia matchup then, assuming Notre
Yep.
Dame wins. I have Notre Dame winning this game. I have
Interesting.
zero faith in Georgia. Carson Beck looks terrible. I would expect him to have at least two turnovers in this game. If he even played, I mean, he got benched. I mean, he got hurt, which is why he got benched, but he did come back in for that game winning play. I have the surprise upset with Notre Dame taking down Georgia in the second round.
So are you
My
high on Notre
my
Dame
first
then?
upset. Hmm?
You super high on Notre Dame or
I like their quarterback. I like their quarterback a lot.
Hartman?
Yep. Not Hartman. Hartman was last year.
Pretty sure Sam Hartman's still the quarterback.
I thought it was Riley Leonard.
You're right. You're right. My bad. Yeah, it's
Hartman
Riley
was
Leonard.
last year.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know why you had me question myself there. I knew I was
It's
right.
it's it's Riley Leonard. You're right.
Yeah, I love Riley Leonard as a prospect. I think this guy has flashes of Josh Allen in his game. As some of you know, I have been a Josh Allen hater in the past, but only because of his turnovers. I'm on record saying I like watching him as a person, as a player. I think he's exciting to watch. I think he's a great athlete and can be a great quarterback, but he needed to cut down on his turnovers because I thought that was the one thing holding him back. Josh Allen has done that this season, having a great season, carrying the Bills. Back to college football, I think Riley Leonard shows flashes of this Josh Allen slash Justin Herbert ability, right? He has great wheels. He can run the ball. He's got a good frame, taller kid, got a cannon of an arm. I don't know much about his player profile, like his prospect. I don't know what NFL people think of him, but to my eye, I think he's got some talent.
Yeah. I'm not as high on Riley Leonard as you are. As you can tell, I didn't even know he's Notre Dame's quarterback. I thought it was Sam Hartman. Feel kind of stupid for that, but yeah, I
But
should
I
know
thought
that.
SMU was Southern Mississippi, so we got that going.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah. Yeah, I think Georgia wins just because they're all around a better team at every position. I feel like they average out to be a better team. Um, Carson Beck, you're right. Carson Beck has not looked good. He's injured. Their backup, he actually did look. I don't even know his name, but he did look good in those. That was a Texas game for the conference championship. He looked good. They did go and win. He did get hurt at the end, and that's why Carson Beck came in on that last play, is because he just needed to hand the ball off. He didn't need to use his arm to throw. So I still have Georgia just because of the overall team. I don't think the quarterback play will affect them that bad. So I think Georgia wins it.
Fair enough.
Moving on to the Penn State Boise State game. I think you're going to be agreeing with me here. You're taking Penn State?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we can both agree that Boise State is Ashton Genty University now, correct? I think if I would have asked you where Boise State was, could you tell me? Could you tell me right now?
No.
I think it's in Wyoming.
Okay, yeah, not even close.
I think or Idaho. It's somewhere in that area where there's no other team. Like it's the only team in that state.
Makes
It's in
sense.
I think it's Idaho. But Ashton Genty put this team on the map, and I honestly think you could say he's 80% of the reason they're in this playoffs. Even if it is the 12 playoff team, I think he's 80% of the reason they're in here. Yeah, Penn State, I would say they're better at all positions except for running back. and we're going to see that here.
Yeah, similar to what you were saying about Georgia over Notre Dame. Like they're just a better team all around. And I don't think Genty can make up that much of a difference in order for them to overcome just a better team like this. So I think Penn State wins this one. I don't have a lot of doubt on that. I would be very surprised. Don't worry, I'm cheering for Genty. They'd be a great story, be a great Cinderella story, even though they're the higher seed. That if Boise State were to go on a run here and win a couple games, would be awesome. I don't see it happening.
Yeah. And I'm not saying Ashton Jennings is going to have a bad game. I actually think he's going to have a good game, but I think he's the only person on Boise State that's going to have a good game. I mean, he had a good game against Oregon, but did they win that game? No. He had a great game, but they didn't win. And I think it's going to be the same story here against Penn State. He's going to have a good game. They're just not going to win.
I hear you. I feel.
Yeah. Moving to another game that's kind of like this one, Arizona State versus Texas.
Who
Uh,
you get?
I'm going Texas.
Yeah, I am. I'm not even sniffing Arizona State in that game.
Okay. When you asked me who I got, I was like, there's no way he's about to say Arizona State,
Yeah,
right?
caught you there, caught you
Yeah,
lagging.
I was prepared for it. I was gonna be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah. Arizona State. I didn't even know who Scabido?
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not even gonna try. I know who you're talking about.
Scabadabadua?
I that conference championship game is the first time I've heard of him.
Me too, but he went off. That guy
He's
looked
good
good.
too. He looks good.
He looks really good. I might have to go back and like watch an Arizona State game and see like, hey, was this a fluke game or is this guy just a dog that no one has seen because Ashton Genty's taken over the running back media, right?
Yeah, he
Um,
pretty good season stats. I mean, it was nothing to write home about, but I mean, he had a very good year. Um, he gives me flashbacks of like Peyton Hillis.
mm,
It does have to do with his frame and his you know everything about him. He's just a bigger, shorter,
yeah,
white running back. It gives me Peyton Hillis vibes.
yeah. The crazy thing about it is I haven't heard this guy's name um before his conference championship game, and he got more Heisman votes than Shadur Sanders.
That he did.
Or you could say more Heisman votes than you could say like almost anyone.
Right, everybody.
He was fifth in Heisman votes, and I didn't hear his name until a week ago.
You know a
That's
better comp? I just thought of it. Maurice Jones-Drew, like a little bowling ball.
oh, you're talking comp for
Yeah, like sorry,
Scabba
just going back. Like Peyton Hillis was like a 1 year wonder. I was trying to think of like a more like actual representation comp. Maurice Jones-Drew is probably the one that comes to mind. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, continue.
yeah. But the only person I know in Arizona State is Scabadabadua, so I think Texas was an easy pick here. I
Yeah, I would
think,
agree.
yeah,
We're running
again,
we're running into a lot of situations where there's just one team that's just all around a better
all
team.
they're yeah, and I
How
would even
how
say,
go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
How lucky is Texas to get Clemson and then Arizona State as the two teams they have to go through?
Yeah, it's a free go to the semifinals, but then you
It
get
should be
it should be, but then I don't want to face either of those teams I'm playing in the semifinals,
right. So they got
right?
the harder
I
matchup on
feel
the
like,
back end, but they got the I don't want to say a bye because I mean upsets happen all the time, right? We
yeah,
saw how many throughout the college football season unranked teams beating a decent team. Georgia Tech
NIU,
going out there beating a couple teams. NIU is beating
NIU,
Notre
Notre
Dame, right?
Dame.
Right. I mean, they happen all the time. If Texas can not get too far ahead of themselves and actually stay grounded these first couple of weeks, they should just roll all these teams.
I agree. Texas, I think, like you said, you don't want to use the word bye, but if there was two games, I wouldn't say if there was two games that are a bye. I would say the Boise State game is more of a bye than Clemson, and I would say what I'm blanking on the other team. The SMU game is more of a bye than Clemson. But I mean, Clemson is still one of the worst teams in this playoff bracket, so I would still call them a bye week.
Yeah, they've played two out of the three worst teams in this tournament in Clemson and Arizona State.
Yeah,
You can't draw that up any better for Texas to get it started.
I agree. I mean, Texas, they have a nice road to the semifinals. It's a question of
Absolutely.
what they do in that semifinals that is going to show us. Moving on to, I think, a great game.
I think this would be the most competitive one for sure.
This game is going to be very, very good. OSU versus Oregon. Who you got?
I have Ohio State.
I do too.
I Oregon has played too many close games to teams that are far worse than them. Examples: Wisconsin, Boise State. That's about the list I have in my head right now that I could just come up with on the spot. But I don't like that. They are undefeated. They had a great season. They have a good team. They have everything you need in order to make a run. But I just feel like if Ohio State is a close game against Tennessee, they handle business there. They're on a hot streak. Like you said, they lost to Michigan. That probably came at the best time possible for them to kind of set them back to reality right before playoffs. And hey, we took a pretty bad loss. We got to get our heads on straight. We got to make a push here. Everybody's locked in. Everybody's together. They go out there. I think they beat Oregon.
Yeah, I agree. And just key players. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, amazing freshman. He's been fun to watch. Great wide receiver. Then you got Imake. We've struggled saying this guy's name for
Ibuka.
weeks. Ibu,
That's what I
Ibuka.
call him. I don't know if that's actually the pronunciation of that guy's last name, but I call him Ibuka.
I don't know, but he's a good wide receiver. Projected to go rounds one and two here, so that just shows you, hey, he's probably going. He's going to the league. I'm not gonna say probably. He's going to the league. Um, Great wide receiver. Will Howard. I'm gonna say it straight out. Ohio State kind of kind of struggles in the quarterback category. They don't really pull amazing quarterbacks.
But they do
Um,
just enough, don't they, in college?
yeah, yeah. We've touched on it before. C.J. Stroud is the best Ohio State quarterback of all time. I'm talking in the NFL. We've covered this, but college OSU quarterbacks tend to not work out in the NFL. They might have an amazing year in college, and then they just bust in the NFL. Will Howard, I would say he's not even having an amazing year in college. I mean, you're on OSU. He's doing what you do on OSU. He's a decent quarterback, but he's nowhere near a amazing quarterback in this college level of play.
No, I hear it. He's doing just what he needs to do. He's good enough to win games. He's also bad enough that he could lose you games potentially too. He's just kind of right in the middle, which is fine when you have such a great team around him. Ohio State's kind of made a living with those type of quarterbacks historically. Yeah, it's just like you can go through the list, right? They're good enough in college to win games. They're not great in the NFL. Probably the same thing that'll happen with Will Howard. Um, yeah, I don't really have much else to add to that game other than I think that'll probably be the game of the week for the quarterfinals.
For sure. Another thing I want to add on here is Ohio State's running back room. If you want to talk about the best running back room in the nation, that's Ohio State. The best running back is Ashton Jeffy. I don't think anyone could argue that. I mean, that season was amazing. But the best running back room, you got Trayvon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Those are two league-bound running backs.
Yeah, like
Um,
probably second, third round, both of them.
yeah, those are
Yeah,
two really good running backs that are going to the league. Fun to watch too. If you ever watch Ohio State game, they split carries and you wouldn't. They look like they would start on any other team in the nation. I mean, it's Ohio State, right? If their fourth string, Sam Williams Dixon, he's a freshman. He's the fourth string running back. I'm just looking at their depth chart right now. If he transferred to give me, I think of a random school. If he goes and transfers to NIU, I bet he would start. I bet he would start or make a competition to start there. That just shows how good OSU is. So I don't know who that guy is. I'm just showing that hey, OSU is a good college and they probably have amazing recruits that don't even get to see the field.
just pulling up random people and just assuming that they're good, have
Oh, this guy's a
no
dog.
knowledge on them whatsoever.
No, no, right here, Sam Williams Dixon. Remember the name. Please don't let me down. Please don't let me
I was
down.
gonna say you have no idea.
I have no clue who this guy is. Don't listen to me. That was a joke. I don't know who this guy is. Maybe a few years we will, and we'll be talking about him. But for right now, I don't know who he is.
So the winner of that game should be Ohio State, which we both agreed on, and then we have the winner of the Texas game would play in the semifinals. You have Texas, you get Ohio State going to the national championship game.
I got Texas.
I have Ohio State.
Really?
I do. I do.
I'm very high on Texas. I will tell you that right now. Um,
I just have no faith. Similar to Georgia, I have no faith in Quinn Ewers. I don't think he's that good. That and they play two pretty cupcake teams, and then Ohio State's pretty battle tested, and they come in there. Ohio State just wants it more. They're more ready to go.
for me, coaching went into it. I don't think OSU's coach. I think this could be his last year if he doesn't win the Natty. Um, Texas, again, I touched on their key players. I just think this is the game where, hey, they're not a better this team isn't just a better team overall, right? This is where we go look at those key players and who's better with those key players. I would say their quarterbacks are pretty similar. I would say OSU wins in offense, but I would say Texas's defense is a little bit better than OSU's defense. So I think this is going to be a pretty even match, and I think Texas wins by a field goal.
I'm here for it. I'm here for good games. I'll never be against that.
Yeah, I think Texas wins by a field goal. You have OSU winning?
I have OSU going in the national championship game.
Oh, just, yeah, yeah. I was
So
about to say
that'd be
OU
the
and Natty.
semifinals. That'd be
Yeah,
Texas,
yeah, you're right.
OSU.
Okay, then you have Notre Dame versus Penn State. I have Georgia versus Penn State.
Correct. I have Notre Dame beating Penn State. I
You have,
have.
don't tell me you have Notre Dame winning the Natty.
We'll get there. Let's one at a time. One at a time. I have number 7 seed Notre Dame and number 8 seed Ohio State in the national championship.
I agree. If Notre Dame were to go against Penn State, I think Notre Dame would win. I have Georgia against Penn State, and I think Georgia wins. Uh, yeah, I think key players are better. I would say Georgia's slightly a better team all around. Some at some positions they're better, but I think Georgia's just the better team, and they are also more battle tested, I feel like. I mean, Georgia is a great program. So I have Texas Georgia in my final SEC championship rematch.
I have Ohio State Notre Dame.
All
Who you
right,
got winning it?
I have
Give
Texas winning the Natty.
I knew it.
I have Texas winning the Natty.
I knew it. Who do I have winning?
You
Notre Dame, Ohio
have
State.
OSU winning.
I do have Ohio State winning it.
Mhm. Yeah, I really think for me, the winner of OSU Texas is the Natty. I think that'll be the winner of the Natty.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
I
Yeah,
think if
if
OSU
Ohio
beats
State
Texas,
doesn't beat Texas, I think Texas can handle basically anybody from the other side of the bracket. Whether it's Georgia, whether it's Penn State, whether it's Notre Dame, for sure Boise State, Indiana, or SMU. So yeah,
I
I,
agree. I
I
think
can definitely see the point there. I can definitely agree with that logic there.
yeah. Is it fair to say that Natty is Texas OSU? I mean that I guess that's what kind of what we said, right? And I think that's going to be your best game. I think Texas they've lost to Georgia in the SEC championship, and that's part of why I said Texas beats Georgia in this Natty. Just because, hey, you took our conference championship away. Now we're mad. We have something to fight for. We want that Natty. Not only are we battle tested against you, we know what you're going to do now. It's just experience, right? They have knowledge of what they did. They want it even more now because they beat them. They're out for blood, and I just think Texas takes it home against Georgia.
Yeah, but that logic can be used both ways too. They both have seen each other. They both know what they're trying to do. They both have game film on each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have the argument. Yeah, they want it more. They have the revenge game or whatever you want to call it. Um, but they both have film on each other now. It would be a great game.
Well, I mean, you could say that for any game though. Like college football, they all have film on each other all the time.
Yeah, they're all cheating. They're all stealing signs and whatnot all the time.
John Harbaugh.
He didn't actually do it.
Okay. He's in the
Somebody
NFL now,
else.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you have OSU as your national champions. I have Texas as their national champions. I could 100% see OSU being your national championship, so I'm not gonna argue with you at all. I really think it's either Texas or OSU is gonna be your natties or national champions this year.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be awesome. We'll be checking in as these weeks go by to kind of see how our brackets make it, see who the first one to predict something wrong would be, so the other person can rub it in their face.
Yep.
Competitive as always. I love it.
Not only are we doing that, but do you know who you face in fantasy this week, Jameson?
I do.
Round two of the
I
playoffs.
know I have basically a free pass to the championship game
Oh,
this week,
oh.
so looking forward to it.
Ooh. I'm coming in as a 5 seed, and I just took out the 4 seed, I think. Yeah, upset city right here. They're gonna call me the Giant Slayer here pretty soon.
No, they won't. They will not be calling you
Yeah,
that.
they will.
So,
Giant Slayer right here. I defeat all the good teams.
yeah, well, now you're against the number one seed in myself. So, good luck. You'll need it.
I
We'll
don't
see what
need it. I've given all my guys a pep talk. They know what's on the line here. I'm gonna
happens.
DM them all on Instagram and let them know. All right, they will know what's up, and they're gonna take you down here.
All right. I look forward to it. Should be a good
Yeah,
game. Should be a
you
good
won't be looking
match.
forward to it after I beat you.
All right. Let's calm down.
You know
Jumping
what's up.
back over to the NFL. It's where our kind of our bread and butter is.
Yeah.
This week's games, excuse me. There's a couple of good ones in here, specifically for playoff picture type seeding stuff going on. The one that jumps to mind really quick, you have Vikings, Seahawks, Eagles, Commanders. You have Steelers, Ravens, which is for the division lead, if I believe would be correct. Texans, Chiefs has seeding implications there. Some really good games to watch here. Do you have a game that you're more looking forward to, or one that you're really excited for, other than the Seahawks game, obviously?
I was gonna pull it. Steelers Ravens.
Yeah, I'm ready to see the Ravens just wipe the floor. Yep. Thank you. Appreciate bringing that one up.
What? Getting a little aggressive now. Jeez.
I don't think the Steelers stand a chance in that game.
I think they do because it's a rivalry. I think it's a division rival. Every
Yeah,
division
they
rival
are
stands.
always close. I'll give you there, but
Division rivals are always a close game, I think. So I think that's it's a got a lot of stakes too. I mean, winner gets a home playoff game, most likely.
well, I mean, we got a couple weeks left, but
Yeah,
that is for the lead in the division, that game specifically. So whoever wins that would take Steelers have a one game lead over the Ravens. Ravens win that game. They're both tied record wise, but I believe the Ravens
would have tiebreaker.
would have tiebreaker, or did the Steelers beat them earlier in the season to be split? So then it would go to
Isn't
conference
it always most
division play?
recent? Isn't it most recent?
No, it goes just throughout the season. So if
You're
they
right.
split it 1-1, then it goes to in the
Division.
division in division play, and then if that's tied, then it goes to common opponents.
It wouldn't go to conference play.
I don't believe so. I believe it goes to common opponents first.
Okay, so if Ravens win, they're both gonna be 3-2 in division. So then it will go to common opponents.
Yeah, whatever. It would go to whatever that
Third tiebreaker is.
third tiebreaker is, whether that is conference play or if that's common opponents. I don't know the answer to that one.
If it's conference play, Steelers will still have the lead of the division.
That's crazy.
If it's common opponents, I don't know. I don't have that in front of me.
Yeah, there'd be some research done. So basically, my point is big game, big playoff implications in that game, similar to like what the Seahawks Rams are shaping up to be at the end of the season. Um, Similar to the Packers. I think they play the Lions week 18.
Let me take a look. I think they do. I mean, it's rivalry week.
Right. So another game that is going to have big playoff implications if the Lions start losing games here. The
It's
Vikings are
Lions Vikings.
okay. So
Lions.
then that one, I knew the Lions game had something. So Lions Vikings, that one could be for the division lead. Seahawks Rams for the division lead. Great games. But this honestly, the way that they came up with these schedules, that they have to play a division team week 18. Amazing stuff by the NFL. I also like
It's
the I also
ticket
like that they
six.
flex games so that, if games have implications against each other, they're playing at the same time so that one doesn't happen beforehand and then one team just kind of mails it in, doesn't laugh it. I think that's
Yep.
really good that the NFL does that. It makes it a great week to watch.
I mean, would you say week 18 is the best week of the NFL season besides like playoffs and stuff? Or
No,
would you say it's week
I'd
one?
say week one is the best
Yeah.
week in NFL season.
Start of the season.
It's finally
I
back.
was, yeah. Hearing 7 hours of commercial free football, it's one of the best things ever after a long off season. You're just like, oh, it's back.
Except they don't even follow the rules anymore. There were like three different instances where I saw a whole commercial getting played out this past week. What's up with that? What are we doing, Scott Hansen? What are we doing? Why are we paying him? I'm paying too much for this channel for me to be watching commercials.
You're right. At least they give you a little split screen though, so you can at least watch like half of a game. Like, but it's really zoomed out. So you're like, did Jamar Chase just go for a 99-yard touchdown, or am I tripping?
I don't need. Yeah, I'll leave it alone. I've said my piece. I want my money back. All right, correct.
Or fix the commercials.
Next year free. That's what I want.
That'd be pretty nice. Yeah. Another game this week I'm looking at is the Texans Chiefs game. Or yeah, Texans Chiefs game.
Patrick
I
Mahomes going to play. Does it matter?
it does. I mean, obviously it matters. It's Patrick Mahomes. Don't. It's Patrick Mahomes. No, Texans win either way, I think.
That's crazy. I was not
You're
expecting
right,
to
but
come out of your mouth.
no, no. Chiefs finally get shown, hey, this isn't gonna work against a good team. Win at
Texans
all.
win either way. That's crazy
I think
work.
so. I think so. I think it'll be a lot closer of a game. I think the game will be within 3 points if Mahomes plays.
The crazy thing is, I was gonna say the Chiefs win this game either way. Yeah, it Carson Wentz starts this game, I still think the Chiefs win.
Really?
I I swear to God, I firmly believe that.
Why? Why?
I the Texans, although they're my Super Bowl pick, it breaks my heart a little bit. They have not looked great recently. Their offensive line, not good. CJ Stroud is taking a lot of heat in the pocket. He's mobile enough to get out of there, but he makes his bread and butter by staying in the pocket and delivering the ball on time. He's a true pocket passer quarterback with the ability to break the pocket. That offensive line can't protect him. And the Chiefs have a good pass rush. Like they will be in his face all game long.
Jones.
Karlaftis, Jones,
Ah, George Karlaftis.
Mike Donna, or is he hurt? Dana
Ah,
Donna. Then they have a couple other guys too.
I could
Leo
pull it.
Chenal, or is he hurt too? I know the names. I just haven't seen the injury report list for the Chiefs. Was it because I'm
I'm
sick of
looking
seeing
at
them
it.
win, so I don't like to tune into them.
Yeah. That's why I chose the Texans to win because I don't want to see the Chiefs win anymore.
It would be great to see the Chiefs lose, but the Texans aren't the team I thought they would be at this time.
If the Chiefs win this week, do they clinch first seed?
No, because the Bills are still close.
I forgot about the Bills. What are they a game behind? Are the Bills a game behind?
Two. So if the Chiefs win, the Bills lose, they would clinch the number one seed. If the Chiefs and the Bills win, the
Bills play
Bills,
Patriots. No.
yeah. So the Bills would have to win out, and the Chiefs would have to lose out for the Bills to have even a shot, and then it would come down to a tiebreaker. So essentially, Chiefs win two games, two out of the next three,
Or yeah, yeah. Then
or
you're guaranteed. Yeah.
Bills lose one.
Bills have to win out here. Interesting. The edge rushers, they have George Karlaftis.
Yep,
Uh, oh, it moved on me. Terrashon Wharton,
sure.
Chris Jones,
Mm-hmm.
Mike Donna.
Mm-hmm.
They also have Derek Nottie, who's also a very underrated backup for Chris Jones. I think
Hmm.
Derek Nottie is a very good
I didn't know
player.
he was on their team, to be honest with you.
Mhm. Yeah,
They're good. My point
they are.
being, I think he's gonna get sacked quite a bit in that game. I don't think it matters. You want to know what my game of the week is?
Game of the week. Hit me.
Falcons Giants. Michael Penix will be starting at quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons.
Now
This
is your
game
game is your
will
is
get
it
out of hand quickly. The Falcons will be putting up some points.
you think Michael MPJ lights it up,
Oh,
huh?
he's going to light up the Giants. He is. Go pick him up. Go start him in your fantasy leagues this week.
Hey, do you have him in our fantasy league?
No, but I'm going to go scoop him here after waivers clear tomorrow.
Is he in waivers?
Mm, no. I was thinking my redraft league.
Yeah, I was gonna say in our
Palmer,
league, I don't
no.
think he's in waivers.
Palmer.
I'm safe
Might have to go trade for him. Sell the
for
house.
one week. Yeah, you just want to beat me that bad. You know you're gonna lose, so you have to. Yeah, you're scared. You're shivering in your boots. I can see it.
I'm gonna handle business like your SMU.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. You don't stand a
Oh,
chance.
I stand a great chance.
No. My point is Michael Penix Jr. season debut. That's not true. He came in. He played earlier. His first start. It's gonna go great. It's gonna be electric. Falcons by at least a touchdown over the Giants. Good stuff. Good stuff.
What do you think for like skill position player? Do you think MPJ throws the Kyle Pitts?
Mhm.
We
Think we
talked
should
about this
play
last
there.
week. We talked
Might
about this last
trade for
week.
some Kyle Pitts, huh?
Oh, didn't you just say all hope was lost for him last week?
No, last week I said that he was going to get traded to the Broncos and that Sean Payton was going to revive his career.
But instead, MPJ revives his career.
Maybe.
I don't think it'll happen.
Maybe. Yeah, I doubt it. I think Drake London and Darnell Mooney are going to light it up, though.
And I think Bijan Robinson. I don't think Bijan's going to change. I think Bijan Robinson's going to be Bijan Robinson.
Well, it's against the Giants, so I don't think any running back would have a problem.
Dexter Lawrence is a menace.
He's on IR. He's done for the season.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
don't pay attention to the Giants. The Giants suck.
That's why this game is not going to, it's not,
This game's it's over already.
yeah, it's not good. Eagles Commanders is the other one.
That's a good game. That's yeah. I didn't even see that one. That's a great game.
Division game. Eagles are trying to kind of separate themselves. They're trying to catch the lines and kind of separate themselves and get that number one seed
Mhm.
with why the lines are vulnerable with all these injuries. I think Eagles get it done. Commanders not able to get it done. Jaden Daniels has kind of come back. He actually has looked better as a passer recently, which is great. But it's not. I think it's just not the newness anymore. Everybody's not like
Now it's expected.
he's the shiny new toy. He's kind of like, yeah, okay, like this is what he does.
It's Jaden Daniels. He's a dog now.
Yep, love him.
Top
Great
five
stuff.
QB in the league first year. He's
Those
a
are my
dog.
those are my games of the week. Michael Penix, waiver wire, go get him, league winner.
Other playoff implications. Were the
Battle for an
Chargers?
early, you get a battle for an early draft pick, Jaguars Raiders.
I was gonna say, yeah.
The game of nobody wants to win.
Yeah. What do you think the stakes are, or like the length they go to lose that game?
Well, they're not going to try. The players don't want to lose, but the
The
fan
players
bases do. Both fan bases of that game are like, I hope our team doesn't win this game.
going for Travis Hunter here. All right. Battle for Travis Hunter. Is that what we're calling this?
No, our Raiders will draft a quarterback. They need it. They're too quarterback needy. They have to. They're stuck in that.
That gives me a topic for when we get to mock drafts, but
They are
I'll save
held up
that
against the
later.
wall at gunpoint in the need of a quarterback.
You're right. I mean, get Brock Bowers a guy, man. That guy's going to be a dog. He already is a dog, but Brock Bowers is the new Travis Kelce once he gets a quarterback, I feel like.
I disagree. I had a conversation with somebody at work about this. Brock Bowers will never have more value in dynasty football league specifically than he has
Right
right
now.
now. He will never get more targets, more catches than he got this season because they have no weapons on this team. They don't have a running back. They have one decent receiver in Jacoby Myers. That's it. And Brock Bowers is the only other target. Like he is the only guy to throw to. Therefore, as soon as they start getting a better running back, as soon as they start getting better wide receivers, he's just going to lose targets. Like if you have him and you ever want to sell him for the most amount of value, now's the time. And he'll never put up these kind of numbers again. Just be aware.
The only reason I agree with you is because what happened to Sam Laporta. And oh, you know me. I was the biggest Sam Lagoda Glazer probably in the world. You probably could have called me his number one fan. Still love Sam Lagoda. Guy's a goat. That's why his name's Sam Lagoda. Um, Rookie year, he went off. Loved him. I traded Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was on my team. Traded him away. Sam Lagoda is my future. He kind of sucked this year, if I'm going to be honest. He kind of sucked.
He had a sophomore slump similar to CJ Stroud. I don't think it'll last forever. Saying he's still a good tight end, but similar, but I don't think Brock Bowers comes down that far. But he definitely won't be getting as many catches as he had this year. Not a chance ever again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if he proves himself, he'll have to get those targets. I mean, you get your best player the ball. It's what you do.
Is it?
Yes. Yes, it is. You're telling me you don't want the ball in your best player's hands.
Oh, I'm not as a fan, of course that's what you think you do. But you're telling me teams do that?
Right now they do. Brock Bowers.
No,
Right now,
them specifically. But there are teams around the league. I'm trying to think of a good example. Um,
I instantly go to the Seahawks. DK
I
Metcalf.
think Eagles first and foremost. Well, I guess Saquon would probably be their best player. I was thinking AJ Brown.
Saquon's their best player, yeah.
Right.
I
I mean,
think a
AJ
good
Brown was complaining
example,
because he wasn't getting the ball, and he got the ball a bunch, and he went off. Right.
an example I think is DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf takes a lot of attention just because he's so big, so fast. If you don't give him that attention, he will spread out your defense and he'll cook you behind you, right?
Yeah, but Jackson Smith-Njigba was a better receiver.
Is he a better receiver? Or is he just getting more opportunities?
I think he's a better receiver. I think he's a better all-around receiver than DK. DK is a better. He's just faster, so he's a better go ball. He probably has a better release.
I would say he's a better jump ball.
Right. He's just a physical, out muscle you receiver, but he's not a better full-blown receiver.
I don't agree with that. For a better full-blown receiver, I feel like you'd have to be better at every single trait, correct?
No.
A full-blown receiver, you're saying every single thing he's better at.
No,
Is that
overall, he's just a better receiver. So if you take the average of say there's five things, we're using random numbers. If he's better at three of the five than DK Metcalf, by average, he'd be better.
all right? Yeah. Okay. I just think to me DK is better, not because of his stats, but because scheme wise. Um,
But
Ryan
what they're
Grubb,
doing with the two guys is amazing. To your point, I see what you're saying. They're using DK Metcalf as a basically a decoy. He's like a threat.
a
You
decoy
either
you
cover
have to respect.
you
If you
cover him
don't,
over the top, you put two guys on him, or I'm going to throw it deep and he's going to catch the ball. So
Mhm.
either I'm throwing it deep to DK, or you're going to bring a safety over the top, guard DK with two guys. We're going to dump it underneath to Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's a beautiful schematic, game plan that they're putting together. It's working great. I love it as a Seahawks fan, but you don't need to force the ball to DK because I don't think he's the better receiver. They're just two good receivers, good at different things, complementing each other in different ways.
I agree. I can, yeah, I get that. For who's the better receivers, I think you could make an argument that they're both better than each other, right? You could say DK's a better receiver. I think you could say JSN's a better receiver. In my opinion, DK's better. Just I like that big receiver that's going to come down with the ball more than 50% of the time. It's a 60-40 jump ball instead of a 50-50 jump ball, right? JSN's a better slot. I don't think you can say DK would be better in the slot. DK doesn't belong in the slot. JSN's a better slot receiver, and I would say JSN's a better route runner than DK.
for sure.
That's JSN's specialty. If you watch JSN run a route, that's it's artistic. It's
Well, that's
beautiful.
yeah, that's why they complement each other so well because they can't. They probably could do each other's job, but they're so much better at their own individual jobs that they complement each other as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what makes an offense run. That's what
That's what
makes
you
the
want. You
Seahawks.
want yeah, you want two
Yeah.
receivers. You don't want two of the same receiver because that's not how the offense works.
Just a little stat. DK and JSN are number three in wide receiver duos and yards. They have 1,800.
Yep.
Number one is Jamar and T. They're at 2,000. They're almost at like 2,100. And then second is Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. They're at 2,000. So DK and JSN are at three.
Third best duo.
I would I would say you get them. I don't know, because Jamar Chase, T Higgins easily have the best quarterback, right? Joe Burrow is better than Sam Darnold and Gino.
Yeah, by far. Sam Darnold and Geno. Yeah.
Then you would say, hey, who's better, Sam Darnold or Geno Smith?
I'm going to answer that question as Kevin O'Connell's system.
That's a good answer. I honestly I would say Ryan Grubb's system is the same reason why DK and JSN are succeeding too.
There you go.
Is it even do we go to the Bengals and who is the
No,
Bengals?
no, that's it's
No.
Joe.
Yeah, you're right. Joe Burrow, T Higgins. It's interesting. I think schemes are a lot of what's overlooked in NFL. I think a scheme is a lot of what happens in
Oh, we've never touched on this.
no, we haven't. But scheme and coaching is a big part in the NFL, and we're seeing it now. Kevin O'Connell and Ryan Grubb. I say you could throw those guys at the success of those two duos. You maybe could put it on Sam Darnold, maybe you could put it on Geno. I'm not a big fan of Geno. Sam Darnold. I'm not a big fan of Sam Darnold either, so I'm not going to give them the credit.
I hear you. I hear you there.
Yeah. With that, I think we're gonna close this episode out. Thank you guys for watching, coming in, listening to our opinions, listening to college football, a little bit of NFL as well. All things football here. We'll have to go down to Pee Wee football here pretty soon if we need to,
Go
Go
to
watch some.
Texas, catch a couple games.
Yeah. Tell you who the new, what was his name? Like Sam Williams Dixon, Ohio State commit will be.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah, but we'll come back next week. I'll tell you how badly I beat Jameson in fantasy. With that, we'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. Peace out, everybody.